Right now, my favorite productivity mouse isn't something from Logitech, it's not something from Razer, it's actually from Microsoft. Wait, what? This is excitingly named the Microsoft Bluetooth Ergonomic Mouse. Yes, that's the name. Microsoft is always the definition of cool. Okay, but on a more serious note, I got this mouse because I wanted something multi-device, and also because I wanted something that was the color white to match the rest of my setup. So let's look at the appearance of the mouse. The mouse comes in various colorways. This is the white colorway. The exterior is plastic and unibody almost. You'll see that there's no like panels separating the clickers and the rest of the body on the top, which I find quite unique. The overall shape is pretty similar to something like an MX Master, including this sizable thumb rest, which I do appreciate, especially since a lot of mice on the lower mid-range end don't really have this thumb rest for some reason, even though it's just extended plastic. The scroll wheel itself is metal, which again, I like. I don't really like the rubber scroll wheel that I found in the MX Master 2S because over time this rubber started to degrade. You also have two programmable buttons on the side here near the thumb area and nothing else. You have your left click, right click, and your scroll wheel click and your scroll wheel, but that's pretty much it for the buttons. Underneath here you have a button for Bluetooth, so this does support 3 different connections, and you have the battery hatch. So yes, this is a AAA battery mouse, which may be a pro or a con for you depending on what you're after. At the end of the day, I think it's a personal decision. This does claim to have a 15-month battery life, which is quite impressive. And it's also surprisingly very light for its size. So with 2 AA batteries, it's lighter, much lighter than an MX Master 2S. And surprisingly, it's also lighter than a Logitech M720, which physically looks smaller than this mouse. So I was quite surprised by that. One minor downside for me is that the thumb rest and the material on the sides is made of my pet peeve material, this rubberized plastic thing, which over time will just degrade and start getting sticky, which is sort of what's happening to my M720 right now, as you can see right here. At least it's just a smaller portion of the mouse, and the actual top of the mouse and the clickers are still made of hard plastic. Now again, might be a deal breaker to some, but this is a Bluetooth only mouse, so they don't have a wireless dongle with it. So if you want to connect it to your desktop, you might need to use a separate mouse first, or just get good with your hotkeys. Now I know some of you are curious how this mouse sounds, so here it is compared to other mice in my collection. I'm not sure if it came out right on that video, but definitely the clicks here are a lot deeper than the Logitech clicks. So that may or may not be your preference. Now let's talk about connectivity and how easy it is. So again, this is Bluetooth only. Fortunately, it is quite straightforward to pair it with a Windows machine, which does make sense because it's made by Microsoft. So I paired it in seconds. So all I need to do was just press and hold the Bluetooth button right here, and then that'll light up, and then you just pair it with your PC. Immediately after pairing, you'll be notified that you might want to download the Microsoft Keyboard and Mouse Center. And when you do that, that gives you the option to program the buttons. Just for fun as well, I wanted to see how it connects to a MacBook, so here it is. It doesn't seem to detect it at all, unless it's this one, which I doubt. Oh wow, it was that one. Now it's connected to the Bluetooth Ergonomic Mouse. Okay, so it did connect to a Mac. I am very surprised. I guess it does mean that you won't be able to program it, but the left click works, the right click works. Yeah, it does work on a Mac. All right, let's talk about the programmability and the software. So this does give you the option to increase or decrease the DPI. The programmable buttons as well, you can map to these various options right here. What I've actually preferred is to map one of the buttons to be sort of like a toggle so that my scroll wheel will become horizontal, which to me is really important for both my day job because I do a lot of spreadsheet work and also for video editing because I need to scroll horizontally through a timeline. So this has been really useful for that. And overall, I've really enjoyed using this product. It's the perfect shape for my hands actually. And I've been using it for work, for video editing and just for general purpose use, and it has been fantastic. Now, if you wanted to know how accurate this mouse is in day-to-day use, let's do a bit of a test. I think that's pretty accurate, wouldn't you say? You also might be wondering, how does this actually compare to something like Logitech's mice? Now, this isn't really a fair comparison to compare it with something like an MX Master because this is around half the price, but just for comparison's sake, you'll see that it is similarly sized and it is equally ergonomic, I would say. So if you are after the MX Master form factor, but you don't necessarily need all of the bells and whistles of an MX Master, you might just want to consider something like this. Now, there is another Logitech mouse in this price range, which I've done a review on, the M720. I would say the M720 is a bit more fully featured. There's a lot more that you can do with it because Logitech software is just more customizable, but I like this form factor better on my hand. If you are curious though about the M720 and want to see what I think of it, I did a review on that right here.